Hello everybody. Thank you all for the generous feedback for the previous videos and interesting questions and comments that have followed. Today we talk about a somewhat controversial subject among seafarers, many of whom have raised the exact same question. The question is, should the captain go down with the ship? This question perhaps crops up because we have recently seen a spike in the number of maritime incidents and accidents. On almost every occasion, the captain has been sentenced by the local courts. So let's dive straight in. The captain going down with the ship is held up as a great tradition by mariners and landlubbers alike. This tradition is in fact so ingrained in the psyche of society that it is arguably almost the unquestioned expectation. Numerous movies have glamorized the valor shown by captains as the last person standing on the sinking ship after evacuating all passengers and crew, or going down with the ship trying to do so. At one point, the captain on the ship, while being highly respected, also carried great responsibility and had the ultimate accountability for everything on board. But this respect, responsibility and accountability has not come overnight, or just when the captain wears his 4 stripes. So what is the history which led to this prominent position? In the past, when the captain of the ship was also the owner of the ship, the captain had control and authority over every aspect of the ship. Obviously, it was the captain who decided how the ship was to be maintained and protected, who is to be employed on board, where the ship will sail, what cargo is to be transported, or which passenger to carry. Naturally, with authority over every aspect of the ship, especially the earnings, the captain was all-powerful on board and was responsible for everything. Not just that, with seafaring being most likely the only means of livelihood for the captain and all their worldly possessions on board the ship, losing a ship meant losing everything the captain had, which is probably why captains in history have gone down trying to rescue and salvage their ships, desperately trying until the end. So let's fast forward to the modern era. What has changed? Somewhere along the way, majority of the captains ceased being the owners of the vessels they sailed on. The new owners of the ships, now stationed ashore, decided who was to be employed, where the ship will trade, what cargo is to be transported, and how much to charge as freight. What remained with the captain is no practical authority except on paper, yet retaining the entire burden of responsibility and accountability for safety and security of the ship. This responsibility and accountability hardly went ashore with the new owners, who despite deciding on the budget for everything from maintenance to salaries, controlled even the food and provisions for the captain and crew. So how has this impacted the modern captain? In short, the wings have been clipped, and as a consequence, the captain has not just lost virtually all authority, but also left with very little respect from all quarters, including his own crew, who know very well how very little is the power that he has over them. He can neither hire nor fire them when required. Modern laws criminalize the captain, not just for their own personal negligence, but the captain is accountable even for the negligence or errors by the crew. So what are the laws in some countries? Finnish law states that the captain must do everything in their power to save everyone on board the ship in distress, and that unless their life is in immediate danger, they shall not leave the vessel as long as there is reasonable hope that it can be saved. As per South Korean law, the captains are required to rescue themselves last. In Spain, Greece and Italy, a captain abandoning his ship has been a maritime crime for centuries. So is it different for others in leadership positions? This is ironical because are you aware of laws anywhere in the world that requires the CEO of a company to evacuate the building last, or the president or prime minister of a country not to evacuate the House of Representatives until the last person has been saved? Even if it has happened, it was done as a matter of individual choice and not because it was the law. We live in a world where innocent acts of pollution, accidents, or abandoning a ship in distress, even to save the captain's own life, may be considered a crime that can lead to imprisonment. Recent convictions that captains have received from local courts for such incidents include criminal imprisonment. In many such cases, the captain may not have been directly involved, but was the recipient purely by virtue of the position held on board. If we take the case of the Titanic, which sank in 1912, more than a century ago, the 62-year-old Captain Smith was on his last voyage before he intended to retire, and was asleep in his cabin when the ship hit the iceberg. In today's world, he would have most likely been sentenced to prison had he not chosen to go down with the ship. Hence, do captains only have a binary choice when an accident happens? Either go down with the ship or go to prison in humiliation. So what needs to change? It is perhaps time to reflect on the subject and rethink its repercussions. If almost all authority has gradually gone ashore with the ship owner, then it is perhaps only fair that some of the responsibility and accountability is sent that way too. The next time an incident happens, should the CEO of the shipping company or the ship owner be given the same sentence that the captain receives? Will this perhaps change some of the darker and shady corners of the shipping industry, including the hiring of cheap crew, registering the ships at a flag of convenience, lack of maintenance or shortcuts, engaging in dubious trades, etc.? So the question still remains for the maritime industry to figure out. Should the modern captain still feel compelled to go down honorably with the ship? With that, we come to the end of this video, and I hope that you found the subject thought-provoking. If you have any questions and need further clarification or want to share your opinion, please comment below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the bell icon for updates. Thank you and hope to see you all again.